Reproduction of this content is not allowed without the express written consent of EBH Fitness, LLC. We're back. All right, folks, and we are back, and we got an in-house guest this time. No Zoom. We got in-house. This is part 2 of the Week 6 coaches wrap-up, and we're joined here by Chapin head coach Marco Chavez. Coach, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And welcome to the Borderland Sports Report.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, so every Sunday we jump on and try to recap some things that went on during the week. And, I mean, you guys did what nobody thought was possible. You took down Goliath. That was a huge win for the program, for you as a coach as well. Let's talk about it. Like, what went into that, getting you guys in that position to pull off that big upset?
So, started, with our kids. Our kids just kept on believing. It's easy to go ahead and kind of get your head down. Get your head down and kind of get down after a slow start. But these kids kept on believing. I'm sorry. The coaches came up with a great game plan. We know that the Delvi is a great team, great coach. Year in, year out, we know we're going to get from them. They're going to be tough. But our kids just kept on believing. They had faith in one another. The game plan, they executed it to an elite level, and that's what it was going to take to go ahead and beat a team like that. Definitely.
And so, I went and I pulled the numbers, and, it's funny. So I have conversations with coaches around the city, and one of the things that they said they finally started giving the ball to their best player. I was like, I don't think he intentionally wasn't, but what went into that? Because I know Davian started at quarterback, right?
He did, yes. He was a starting quarterback these past 2 games.
Yeah.
So just credit to him to go ahead and being able to make that transition from being our slot, outside receiver, running back, being on defense, rover, safety, corner, whatever we need him to go ahead and do, and just to go ahead and say, hey, to go ahead, I'll take on that responsibility. I'll go ahead and transition to quarterback, and then he just getting it done. It gives you an opportunity to do something special like we did this past week.
Yeah, and he had probably over 300 yards in offense total between passing and rushing.
Yeah, it was something like that. I think it was about 290, I believe. He had 141 passing and 149 rushing. Something to that effect.
Yeah, so you guys kept that Del Valle offense, 21 points, and really the only offense they got was from Jake Fetty, whether it be his arm or his legs. How did you? What was the game plan going into that?
You're trying to go ahead and contain Fetty, which like I said, he still did what he does.
Yeah,
he's a special kid, and there's a reason why Arizona State is getting one of the the premier quarterbacks in the nation, not just the city, but the state, but the nation. And that kid's he's the real deal. But just trying to go ahead and give them different looks, just slow him down just a little, even though he was full speed and he did what he did,
Yeah, he was a 10 for 22 pass and 151 yards. So, you guys were really able to minimize his passing, but then he was 17 carries for 221 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he's a dual threat, He's been seeing him, this whole time, especially since freshman year. He's a track kid too. He runs a 200, so he's special.
Yeah.
But you try to go ahead and take away one, understanding that he still has another option. But our kids did a great job of minimizing. We bend but didn't break, especially going into that last drive. We bend but we didn't break. Got our offense back the ball, just with enough time to go ahead and be able to tie it up and then take the lead at the end.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about your team here and in this win, Coach. Who were some of the guys that stood out for you guys in this victory?
Some great guys, or the guys in the trenches, the guys in the box. They did a really great job for us up front. That's what kind of is able to move the ball. It's able to go ahead and put pressure and stop the run on defense, things like that. So those guys did a phenomenal job. Another teams that stand out to me is our special teams. A lot of our skill guys, they're two-way guys. They're also on the third phase of the game, which is special teams. So being able to go from offense, defense, then get back on special teams, and being able to change the field on people, being able to go ahead and take whether it's a punt return or a kickoff return, and give us some great yards from some great blocking, some great runs like from Corwan Martin. That's he's one of the top returners in the state. Mm-hmm. So things like that, and then he's also one of our punters. Did a great job, like I said, changing the field to go ahead and kind of force them to go ahead and march the ball down. Like I said, and our defense did a great job being able to bend but don't break. Offense went ahead and was able to move the ball, be consistent, find the open guys, find the open receivers. It was a collective movement, whether it's from Leaf DeWitt, Fabian Ortiz at the running back, whether it was Max Sanchez, and then finally we had Landon Payton that went ahead and got the winning touch, or the tying touchdown. And then, like I said, Corwan does a phenomenal job of going out there making plays when you think everything's broken down, and he find them open. So a collective effort between everybody and everybody that's out there. Like I said, our DBs did a great job being able to put guys in predicaments, just slow them down just enough to go ahead and give us a chance to get pressure. So Adam Rivera, Devon Harris, like I said, Leaf DeWitt, he goes in and plays on defense too. He's an offensive guy. And then we have Corwin also plays corner for us as well. So, and then we have a kid that came out from baseball for us, Nate Sanchez. That kid's been playing big, coming out for us. So, like I said, all those guys just been doing a phenomenal job. Our two backers that did a great job cleaning everything up. Joel Delgado, and then we had Fabian Garcia that did a phenomenal job of. Once the D line took care of their business between Enoch Barrios, Mark Rudolph, Dallas Tucker, and Antonio Enriquez, those linebackers were able to do their job. So it was a great team win, phenomenal job between everybody.
Definitely. And so it's funny, you have a big win like that, and then you got to flip the page and get ready for the next opponent. How do you guys go into this game against El Paso High and not have a letdown?
Right. So the biggest thing that we talked about the kids on Saturday was respect. You got to respect your opponent. So if you respect them, you're going to prepare like you would for anybody else, which is why we prepared so well for our last opponent, Del Valle, right?
Yeah.
So we go ahead and we have respect for our opponent. We're able to go ahead and prepare with surgical precision that we're going to be detailed in what we're doing, and that's what's going to go ahead and give us the edge. That's what's going to go ahead and help us keep our momentum and continue to go ahead and progress as a team as we move forward. Make sure we don't go ahead and get our heads too big, because that's just one game. We still need 4 more to go. We're going to take it one game at a time. Definitely.
And, before we look at the El Paso High game, I was having this conversation with a couple of the coaches at y'all's level, and, man, y'all blew up you just blew up the district standings in a way that now people are trying to do this mathematics to figure out, how do we still able to get this home field advantage, because right now you guys are sitting in a position where you very likely could have a home game. And so y'all blew up a lot of people's I won't say brag, but like the district standings got blown up with that game. I don't think anybody saw that happening. I know I didn't. I'm gonna be the first. I'm gonna admit it. I'll be the first. But however, I did call this upset.
Okay.
I did call this upset. They can go back and watch Monday, then Tuesday, Wednesday.
Okay.
I did call. And matter of fact, I was having a conversation with Kenny Davis from Andrews, and I told him, I said, Kenny, do not be surprised if Chapin beats Del Valle. I was like, they have too many athletes. They just haven't played up to their abilities yet. I said, but don't be surprised if they beat Del Valle. So it's going to be a close game, and don't be surprised if Chapin wins it. And the reason why I felt that way was because I see the talent on the roster, and I'm like, it just hasn't clicked yet. In the last 2 games, I think it has clicked for you guys, and you guys have figured out, okay, this is who we are. This is what we're going to be. This is who we are, and let's roll with it. And I think it's paid dividends. And so I did call. Everybody probably thought I was crazy, but yeah, I did. I was like, don't be surprised if Chapin beats Del Valle. I just looking at the 2 teams, I think you guys had a lot of talent, and you had enough speed to where you could contain a lot of what they do. And so kudos to you guys on that, Coach.
No, yeah, we appreciate that. Like I said, our kids, we're young. You know, we graduated 28 seniors last year. You know, so me having to go ahead and replace those guys and those guys that were on that team, that some of them were 4-year starters last year. A lot of them were 3-year starters for us, and so it takes a little bit of time to go ahead and mesh those guys with the guys that came back. Right, we lost some key guys at some key positions, and everyone had to go ahead and figure out, how do I step up? How do I go ahead and change my role? How do I move into my new role? And it's you kind of get thrown in the fire with the first kind of 4 ball games that you get thrown into. You're going against some tough teams, so being able to figure that out. I think one of our coaches on campus, Coach McClain, said that one game doesn't define you, refines you. So being able to go ahead and kind of speak to that and have that type of mindset moving forward is kind of what our calling was. Just keep on believing, keep on trusting each other, having faith in one another, and hey, we know what we are, we know what we can do, what we're capable of. Let's go out there and execute now.
And especially this comes after the heels of that loss to Andrews, right? To have the resiliency to bounce back those next 2 games and play the way you guys have played, I think speaks loudly to the players and the coaching staff on digging in and preparing. And so kudos to you and your staff and the players on acknowledging that and moving forward, and not living in that loss. Because, I mean, we can say we want to, but that's a big game on the Northeast. When those 2 teams play, but not letting that ruin your season, for sure. So now you flip the page. You got El Paso High coming up. What are some of the things that you guys are looking to do in that game to put you in a position to win?
Like we talked about earlier, how do we go ahead and not lose the edges? We got to respect our opponent. We can't go in there thinking that the points from last week get taken to the next week, because they don't.
Yep.
We're at 0-0. The work that we put in on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, that's what's going to go ahead and put the points on the board on Friday night. So we got to make sure that we're preparing for anybody, whoever the next opponent is, El Paso High this week. But we're preparing for them and being detailed, surgical in what we're doing, and executing at a high level, just making sure that we respect our opponent. We're going to go ahead and challenge our kids to have the best practice they can, and just keep on moving forward and getting better week in, week out. And like I said, kudos to our coaching staff and our kids for really buying into that and doing and getting it done.
Yeah, I don't want to lend into this, but I am gonna stand on the edge on this a little bit. You guys have played the toughest part of your schedule, and I know you as your player, you guys got Canutil, but minus that game, you guys have played the toughest part of your schedule, in my opinion. Right? This is just my opinion. How do you? And I know your players can look at the schedule and see it too, and I think that's where the true coaching comes in for you guys is what you just said, not overlooking anyone, because I mean right now you guys are in control of your own destiny. I mean, let's be real about it. You are, and the players now have to realize that we got to go execute. If we can execute, we can put ourselves in a position to where we've turned this into a special season.
Yeah. I mean, we we don't want to go ahead and get ahead of ourselves or anything like that. And like I said, we still have 4 more district ball games. El Paso Highs, they have a great defense. They went ahead and they held, our district opponents. I think on the field 28 points. They held Del Valle, to a minimum amount of points. So what they're doing is a great job. And like I said, we can't overlook anybody. And just like we kind of proved it this week, anything can happen on Friday.
Yep.
So
that's why you play the games.
Yeah. So we can't afford to go ahead and look past anybody. This next game is the most important because it's the next one on our schedule, and that's how we have to go ahead and take it as. It doesn't matter who it is or what it is. We got to go ahead and make sure we respect everybody. Like I told our kids on Saturday, what are the best 2 things that they do, okay? And then everyone's got to come up with it, and then how we're going to go ahead and attack that. That way you go ahead and get ourselves an attack mindset. But just making sure that we keep that kind of mindset going with our kids and knowing that they have to prepare correctly. They have to go ahead and respect their opponent, and that's how we're going to go ahead and stay in the driver's seat.
Definitely. 'Cause, I mean, you guys you're in a position now where you actually control your own destiny. And that is as a coach, as a player, that's where you want to be at, right? And so kudos to you guys for putting yourselves in that situation. And now it's almost like, at the beginning of the season, I think you guys were the hunters, right? Because nobody was I'm not going to speak for the rest of the city. I'm going to speak for myself. I'm going to own this for me. I wasn't expecting this out of Chapin, right? I knew you guys had talent. I just didn't know if they could get it together or not, right? And I'll own that, right? And to now be in a position to where you just got to take care of business. And you guys punch your ticket to a season that no one saw coming. And so I think that's huge. I think that's really huge, and I think it speaks volumes to the culture that you're starting to build there in Chapin. Because I got to ask the question. I got you here, so I got to ask the question. It has have to have been tough seeing the success that the basketball team has had the last 2 years to go through the seasons that you guys had from a coaching standpoint.
No, I mean, we're Chapin through and through.
Yeah.
When we talk about Husky family, we really mean family, so that there's no nothing. We are one. We're together. When they succeed, we succeed as a school. That's what matters.
Yeah.
When we talk about one program or any program, it's a representation of all of us.
Yeah.
So it's not hard. There's no animosity, no nothing like that.
Well,
it's more encouragement. We want to go ahead and we want every single kid that walks through the halls of Chapin High School to be successful, to be the best human they can be, to be the best person they can be. We talk a lot about culture. When they leave Chapin High School, we want them to be the most successful person that they can be, the best father, the best mother they can be, and that starts with supporting one another. Whether on Friday night was a great night for all around Chapin because El Paso, our volleyball team went ahead and took down El Paso High.
Yep.
That was huge. We went to their house, and our volleyball team went ahead and beat them there, puts them back in the driver's seat as well now in district. And so, some of the first calls I got were from our coaches. So getting a call from Coach Morales and then making sure that I call him. And our principal was at the game in attendance, and she was one of the first ones to go ahead and congratulate us. And our assistant principal, was the ones that were at the volleyball game, went ahead and called me, and the ones that were there, they called each other. So it's one family. We're all the Husky family, and we're all there to support each other. And when one team's succeeding, we're all succeeding. So that's kind of the biggest thing there at Chapin is that we're rooting for each other and we're for each other. And that's as athletic coordinator, I support them all. I support everybody. So I was a head wrestling coach. I was there for assistant softball. I go to as many home and away basketball, tennis, baseball games. So all these sports and all these coaches and all these athletes, they're near and dear to my heart. You know, I love seeing them in the hallway and saying hi to them and knowing who they are, and I take pride in them knowing who I am as athletic coordinator because it means that much to us there. You know, we really take pride in not just having great athletics, but a great academics and people that support us from the top down. For my administration, the teachers, and everybody on staff there, they do a phenomenal job of supporting our kids, and that's what makes it special.
Now, I don't want that question. That wasn't for me, because I know that's how you guys are, but I wanted the rest of El Paso to realize that because I hear it all the time, right? Well, the basketball team is having so much success. Why isn't the football like? And so I wanted to put that out there to let everybody realize that, no, this is – you guys – it's probably one of the few athletic programs here where I see coaches who genuinely support one another. And so I wanted you to be able to say that with your own words and it come from you and not just from me, right? So that's where that question is from. No, I know that that's how you guys are. I have a lot of communications with people over there and just seeing from the outside looking in how they support. And so, yeah, then you brought the volleyball. That was a huge victory. They did put themselves back in the driver's seat. And that's another team that I don't think people was expecting that to happen with, right?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Morales and their staff there, they're doing a phenomenal job with those girls. Zoe, Jaylin, we got a bunch of young setters out there now. We lost our senior setter, and everyone's just kind of been stepping up. It's been taking a little bit to go ahead and kind of gel and mix together, just like our team.
Yeah.
But once we go ahead and you kind of get settled in and everyone finds out their roles and understand how to execute, then, you go ahead and you see what's happening. So that's the great thing about coaching and about having an opportunity to go out and compete. Because ultimately, that's all you want. You just want the opportunity.
You want the opportunity to compete.
Yep.
Yep. And put yourself in a position to win. Hey, Coach, that's all I got. Like I said, this is probably the easiest interview you'll have. Anything you want to say in closing?
No, I just appreciate you having me. Thanks. I'm glad we had time to go ahead and do this, and go Huskies.
Definitely. Well, hey, folks, this has been another episode of the Borderland Sports Report. Thank you guys for tuning in. This will close out week 6 as we get ready for week 7. Man, it's rolling along. Have a good weekend. Be blessed.